Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Shannon. Please hit the like button, the subscribe button, and leave a comment below today. Today we're going to start off with a prayer. It is called the Armor of God. It is in Ephesians 6, but you can look it up on any search engine. The Armor of God. I put on and stand firm with the belt of truth buckled around my waist. I am safe and secure with the breastplate of righteousness, guarding my heart from evil, helping me live a life that honors you. I diligently put on the gospel shoes of peace, willing to go wherever you ask of me. I take and stand behind the shield of faith, protected against Satan's fiery darts of doubt, fear, lies, and deceit. Now on my head I place the helmet of salvation, keeping my mind on you. I grab hold in my hand of the sword of the Spirit, the word of Yahweh, sharp and true. I'm prepared to live today in spiritual victory in Yeshua's name. Amen, folks. Amen. And today we're reading the book of Josue, or Joshua, as everybody probably will call it, Joshua. But my 1980s Bible, or 18 something. Yeah, it's 1960, guys. The Bible's from 1960. So, the book of Josue, Josue. I'm going to be reading chapters 1 through 4, or 1 through 5 today. Here's a little introduction for you. The book of Josue derives its name from the successor of Moses, with whose deeds it is principally concerned. It contains the record of the conquest, division, and occupation of Canaan by the Israelites under his leadership. The purpose of the book is to demonstrate God's fidelity in giving to the Israelites the land he had promised them for an inheritance. That's in Gen 15 and 18. Josue 1 and 2, and 21, 41, 23, and 14. Without divine intervention, this people could never have conquered the powerful nations dwelling in Canaan, a fact which accounts for the many miracles found in the narrative. The severity of the divine decree ordering the extermination of the inhabitants of the cities which the Israelites were to possess was justified as a punishment for the crimes of these pagans, and was directed to preserving the chosen people against the moral and religious corruption which prevailed in Canaan. Deuteronomy 7, 1 through 6, Deuteronomy 20, 16 through 18, Josue 8 and 24, 10 and 28 through 39. The actual author of the book in its present form remains unknown. Many indications point to a date of composition prior to King David's reign, and some of the detailed descriptions which seem to have been composed by an eyewitness may even be the work of Josue himself. Jewish and Christian tradition alike accept the historical accuracy and inspired character of the book of Josue. The entire history of the conquest of the Promised Land is a prophecy of the spiritual conquest of the world through the church under the leadership of Jesus the Messiah. The book of Josue may be divided as follows. The first, the conquest of Canaan, Josue 1, 1 through 12 and 24. The second one, division of the land, Josue 13, 1 through 21 and 45. The third, return of the Transjordan tribes and Joshue's farewell, Josue 22, 1 through 24 and 33. So now, chapter 1. After Moses, the servant of the Lord, had died, the Lord said to Moses' aide, Josue, son of Nun, my servant Moses is dead, so prepare to cross the Jordan here with all the people into the land I will give the Israelites. As I promised Moses, I will deliver to you every place where you set foot. Your domain is to be all the land of the Hittites, from the desert and from Lebanon, east to the great river Euphrates, and west to the great sea. No one can withstand you while you live. I will be with you as I was with Moses. I will not leave you nor forsake you. Be firm and steadfast, so that you may give this people possession of the land which I swore to their fathers I would give them. Above all, be firm and steadfast, taking care to observe the entire law which my servant Moses enjoined on you. Do not swerve from it either to the right nor to the left, that you may succeed wherever you go. Keep this book of the law on your lips. Recite it day and by night, that you may observe carefully all that is written in it. Then you will successfully attain your goal. I command you, be firm and steadfast. Do not fear nor be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. So Josue commanded the officers of the people, go through the camp and instruct the people. Prepare your provisions for 3 days from now. You shall cross the Jordan here to march in and take possession of the land which the Lord your God is giving you. Josue reminded the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half-tribe of Manasseh. Remember what Moses, the servant of the Lord, commanded you when he said, the Lord your God will permit you to settle in this land. Your wives, your children, and your livestock shall remain in the land Moses gave you here beyond the Jordan. But all the warriors among you must cross over armed ahead of your kinsmen, and you must help them until the Lord has settled your kinsmen, and they, like you, possess the land which the Lord your God is giving them. Afterward, you may return and occupy your own land, which Moses, the servant of the Lord, has given you east of the Jordan. We will do all you have commanded us, they answered Josue, and we will go wherever you send us. We will obey you as completely as we obeyed Moses. But may the Lord your God be with you as he was with Moses. If anybody rebels against your orders and does not obey every command you give him, he shall be put to death, but be firm and steadfast. Chapter 2. Then Josue, son of Nun, secretly sent out 2 spies from Shittim, saying, go recon the land and Jericho. When the 2 reached Jericho, they went into the house of a harlot named Rahab, where they lodged. But a report was brought to the king of Jericho that some Israelites had come there that night to spy out the land. So the king of Jericho sent Rahab the order, put out the visitors who have entered your house, for they have come to spy out the entire land. The woman had taken the 2 men and hidden them. So she said, true, the men you speak of came to me, but I did not know where they came from. At dark, when it was time for the gate to be shut, they left, and I do not know where they went. You will have to pursue them immediately to overtake them. Now she had led them to the roof and hidden them among her stalks of flax spread out there. But the pursuers set out along the way of the fords of the Jordan, and once they had left, the gate was shut. Before the spies fell asleep, Rahab came to them on the roof and said, I know that the Lord has given you the land, that a dread of you has come upon us, and that all the inhabitants of the land are overcome with fear of you. For we have heard how the Lord dried up the waters of the Red Sea before you when you came out of Egypt, and how you dealt with Sihon and Og, the 2 kings of the Amorites beyond the Jordan, whom you doomed to destruction. At these reports we are disheartened. Everyone is discouraged because of you, since the Lord your God is God in heaven above and on earth below. Now then, swear to me by the Lord that since I am showing kindness to you, you in turn will show kindness to my family, and give me an unmistakable token that you are to spare my father and mother, brothers and sisters, and all their kin, and save us from death. We pledge our lives for yours, the men answered her. If you do not betray this errand of ours, we will be faithful in showing kindness to you when the Lord gives us the land. Then she let them down through the window with a rope, for she lived in a house built into the city wall. Go up into the hill country, she suggested to them, that your pursuers may not find you. Hide there for 3 days until they return. Then you may proceed on your way. The men answered her, This is how we will fulfill the oath you made us take. When we come into the land, tie this scarlet cord in the window through which you are letting us down, and gather your father and mother, your brothers, and all your family into your house. Should any of them pass outside the doors of your house, he will be responsible for his own death, and we shall be guiltless. But we shall be responsible if anyone in the house with you is harmed. If, however, you betray this errand of ours, we shall quit of the oath you have made us take. Let it be as you say, she replied, and bade them farewell. When they were gone, she tied the scarlet cord in the window. They went up into the hills, where they stayed for 3 days, until their pursuers, who had sought them all along the road without finding them, returned, and then the two came back down from the hills, crossed the Jordan to Josue, son of Nun, and reported all that had befallen them. They assured Josue, "The Lord has delivered all this land into our power. Indeed, all the inhabitants of the land are overcome with fear of us." Chapter 3. Early the next morning, Josue moved with all the Israelites from Shittim to the Jordan, where they lodged before crossing over. 3 days later, the officers went through the camp and issued these instructions to the people. When you see the ark of the covenant of the Lord your God, which the Levitical priests will carry, you must also break camp and follow, that you may know the way to take, for you have not gone over this road before. But let there be a space of 2,000 cubits between you and the ark. Do not come near to it. Josue also said to the people, "Sanctify yourselves, for tomorrow the Lord will perform wonders among you." And he directed the priests to take up the ark of the covenant and go on ahead of the people, and they did so. Then the Lord said to Josue, "Today I will begin to exalt you in the sight of all Israel, that they may know I am with you, as I was with Moses. Now command the priests carrying the ark of the covenant to come to a halt in the Jordan when they reach the edge of the waters." So Josue said to the Israelites, "Come here and listen to the words of the Lord your God." He continued, "This is how you will know that there is a living God in your midst, who at your approach will dispose the Canaanites, Hittites, Hivites, Pezerites, Geshenites, Amorites, and the Jebusites. The ark of the covenant of the Lord of the whole earth will precede you into the Jordan. Now choose 12 men, one from each of the tribes of Israel. When the soles of the feet of the priests carrying the ark of the Lord of the whole earth, touch the water of the Jordan, it will cease to flow, for the water flowing down from upstream will halt in a solid bank." The people struck their tents to cross the Jordan, with the priests carrying the ark of the covenant ahead of them. No sooner had these priestly bearers of the ark waded into the waters at the edge of the Jordan, which overflows all its banks during the entire season of the harvest, then the waters flowing from the upstream halted, backing up into a solid mass for a very great distance indeed, from Admah, a city in the direction of Sarthan, while those flowing downstream toward the salt sea of the Arabia disappeared entirely. Thus the people crossed over opposite Jericho, while all the Israelites crossed over on dry ground. The priests carrying the ark of the covenant of the Lord remained motionless on dry ground in the bed of the Jordan until the whole nation had completed the passage. Chapter 4. After the entire nation had crossed the Jordan, the Lord said to Josue, "Choose 12 men from the people, one from each tribe, and instruct them to take up 12 stones from this spot in the bed of the Jordan, where the priests have been standing motionless. Carry them over with you, and place them where you are to stay tonight." Summoning the 12 men whom he had selected from among the Israelites, one from each tribe, Josue said to them, "Go to the bed of the Jordan in front of the ark of the Lord your God. Lift to your shoulders 1 stone apiece, so that they will be equal in number, the tribes of the Israelites in the future. These are to be a sign among you. When your children ask what these stones mean to you, you shall answer them, the waters of the Jordan ceased to flow before the ark of the covenant of the Lord when it crossed the Jordan. Thus these stones are to serve as a perpetual memorial to the Israelites. The 12 Israelites did as Josue had commanded. They took up as many stones from the bed of the Jordan as there were tribes of the Israelites, and carried them along to the campsite, where they placed them, according to the Lord's direction. Josue also had 12 stones set up in the bed of the Jordan on the spot where the priests stood, who were carrying the Ark of the Covenant. They are there to this day. The priests carrying the ark remained in the bed of the Jordan until everything had been done that the Lord had commanded Josue to tell the people. The people crossed over quickly, and when all had reached the other side, the ark of the Lord, borne by the priest, also crossed to its place in front of them. The Reubenites, Gadites, and half-tribe of Manasseh, armed, marched in the vanguard of the Israelites, as Moses had ordered. About 40,000 troops, equipped for battle, passed over before the Lord to the plains of Jericho. That day the Lord exalted Josue in the sight of all Israel, and thenceforth, during his whole life, they respected him as they had respected Moses. Then the Lord said to Josue, "Command the priests carrying the Ark of the Commandments to come up from the Jordan." Josue did so, and when the priests carrying the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord had come up from the bed of the Jordan, as the soles of their feet regained the dry ground, the waters of the Jordan resumed their course, and as before overflowed all its banks. The people came up from the Jordan on the 10th day of the first month, and camped in Gilgal, on the eastern limit of Jericho. At Gilgal, Josue sent up the 12 stones which had been taken from the Jordan, saying to the Israelites, "In the future, when the children among you ask their fathers what these stones mean, you shall inform them, Israel crossed the Jordan here on dry ground, for the Lord your God dried up the waters of the Jordan in front of you until you crossed over, just as the Lord your God had done at the Red Sea, which he dried up in front of us until we crossed over, in order that all the peoples of the earth may learn that the hand of the Lord is mighty, and that you may fear the Lord your God forever." Chapter 5, last chapter. When all the kings of the Amorites to the west of the Jordan and all the kings of the Canaanites by the sea heard that the Lord had dried up the waters of the Jordan before the Israelites until they crossed over, they were disheartened and lost courage at their approach. On this occasion the Lord said to Josue, "Make flint knives and circumcise the Israelite nation for the second time." So Josue made flint knives and circumcised the Israelites at Gabath Haraloth. Under these circumstances, of all the people who came out of Egypt, every man of military age had died in the desert during the journey after they left Egypt. Though all the men who came out were circumcised, none of those born in the desert during the journey after the departure from Egypt were circumcised. Now all the Israelites had wandered 40 years in the desert, until all the warriors among the people that came forth from Egypt died off, because they had not obeyed the command of the Lord. For the Lord swore that he would not let them see the land flowing with milk and honey, which he had promised their fathers he would give us. It was the children whom he raised up in their stead, whom Josue circumcised, for these were yet with foreskins, not having been circumcised on the journey. When the rite had been performed, the whole nation remained in camp where they were until they recovered. Then the Lord said to Josue, "Today I have removed the reproach of Egypt from you." Therefore the place is called Gilgal to the present day. While the Israelites were encamped at Gilgal on the plains of Jericho, they celebrated the Passover on the evening of the 14th of the month. On the day after the Passover, they ate of the produce of the land in the form of unleavened cakes and parched grain. On that same day after Passover, on which they ate of the produce of the land, the manna ceased. No longer was there manna for the Israelites, who that year ate of the yield of the land of Canaan. While Josue was near Jericho, he raised his eyes and saw one who stood facing him. drawn sword in hand, Joshua went up to him and asked, "Are you one of us or one of our enemies?" He replied, "Neither. I am the captain of the host of the Lord, and I have just arrived." Then Joshua fell prostrate to the ground in worship and said to him, "What has my Lord to say to his servant?" The captain of the host of the Lord replied to Joshua, "Remove your sandals from your feet, for the place on which you are standing is holy." And Joshua obeyed. And that is it for the day, guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment below today. And, of course, no live stream on Sunday because I'm camping again. I haven't gotten to the camper yet, so I'll post pictures for that. Okay, guys? Have a blessed day. May Yeshua bless each and every one of you. And just have a blessed day, folks.